Hey guys, it's Jake here, and today I'm going to give you my top 5 best pet beginner reptiles. Let's get into it. At number 5, I'm going to go for the Hoskink, Egernia hosmeri. These guys, although not as commonly kept as blue tongues or shinglebacks and so forth, they are an awesome skink species. They also make very good pets. No, they are not the most handleable, but they have a very unique appearance. Here's one of our little guys sitting right here. They also don't have to be kept in incredibly overly large enclosures. This here is a 90 by 60 by 60, and I currently have a group of 4. They are also juvenile, so keep that in mind. One is their unique appearance. They've got very prickly, spiky tails, which makes them look very prehistoric, but yet very cool. You probably can't see because you're really far away, but one of our little dudes are here, and one of our little guys are up the top there. They have a very simple diet. They're omnivores, so we feed them a mix of different veggies, greens, and then also insects. So we feed ours on woodies, wood roaches, dubia roaches, and crickets, and the occasional mealworms as a treat as well. Being a community skink, like a lot of your Egernia, they have very interesting social behaviors. And especially the 2 here that have gained a lot more confidence with me, it's really interesting watching them interact with each other and also interact with me. Built up good confidence where they'll actually be out when I'm standing here, whereas the other 2 that are in there, I very rarely see them. However, I do know they reside within this core collar here. A few things to consider is they are a little bit less common within the hobby here in Australia, so finding one might be a little bit more tricky than again your standard common blue tongue or a bearded dragon. The thing to consider is they're not the most handleable species. They're quite fast. Egernia, they can bite, but again, they're fast. They're more of a display pet, but again, an awesome pet. For my 4th, I actually am going to throw a bit of a loophole in here and include an amphibian. In particular, the green tree frog, or White's frog, or dumpy tree frog. They have several different names, especially overseas, but we just call them the green tree frog. Litoria caerulea. These guys make really good, popular pets worldwide. Not just here in Australia, but overseas. They're one of the most popular, if not the most popular amphibian. They're very easy to care for, very low maintenance. They don't require much of a large enclosure, and you can keep them very simple as a nice tall vertical enclosure with a few logs and artificial or real plants, and that's pretty much it. Obviously a large water source and routinely sprayed down to keep humidity levels accurate, and obviously preventing your frogs from drying out. They're insectivores, so feeding them, they've got a very easy diet of just live insects. Again, what we feed ours here, crickets, dubias, and wood roaches. Aside from all that, obviously their appearance. They're a very attractive frog, typically expressing very vibrant lime greens, dark greens, different shades of green, and overseas, and a little bit here, you got blues, purples, reds, maroonies, all different colors, but again, their standard wild type natural form being different shades of green is quite visually spectacular as well. And then also their behavior. They're very calm, non-aggressive frogs. So as long as you have several of the same size, you can actually keep a few together. Unfortunately, they are semi-cannibalistic and opportunistic eaters. So if you do have a small frog in there with an adult frog, there is a chance that that frog's going to get eaten, more than likely, unfortunately. So with a little bit of common sense, you can actually keep a group, I don't know what a group of frogs is called, but a group of frogs in an enclosure together as well. Number 3, Antasia. Antasia is a general, but more specifically, let's talk about Stimson's pythons / children's pythons. Your benefit to your Antasia is their small, compact size, with specimens typically reaching between 70 and 100 centimeters. So they're a very small snake, which makes them perfect for beginners, whether you're an adult or even a small children wanting their first pet snake. A lot of the time, their behavior is pretty docile, so they do make very good handleable animals. And again, the more you interact with them, the better they're going to be as well. I would say one downside to this is when they are little hatchies or neonates, they can be a little bit defensive. Not aggressive, but defensive. So they might be a little bit more striky while they're little young guys. But that behavior can quickly go along as long as you take the steps and handle them and get them used to that. Now, feeding wise, it's incredibly low maintenance, with being fed maybe once every 1 to 2 weeks on a frozen thawed mouse. Now, reptile number 2 is going to be your central bearded dragon. Probably one of, if not the most popular pet reptile worldwide, especially here in Australia. Bearded dragons make great pets because 1, They're super intelligent, they're very personable, but also they're handleable and easy to maintain. Bearded dragons are well known for being very calm and docile, typically even enjoying sitting on your shoulder and just chilling with you while you're sitting there watching TV. Bit of Netflix and chill, I suppose. Dietary wise, they are omnivores and will enjoy both live insects, again as mentioned before, crickets, roaches, so forth, but also your vegetation, so your salad mixes and some other greens as well. Even giving them an occasional treat like a little dandelion from your garden. I know mine love that. Bearded dragons make very good pets because they're hardy and adaptable. Like my little buddy here, again, super lazy, super chill, and happy just to sit on your shoulder, relax with you while you can walk around. So I can put this little guy on my shoulder here, or any of our dragons really, walk around, feed the reptile room, and have him still just sit here like this. When they're young, they can be a little bit more flighty, a little bit less hands-on per se. But again, the more you handle them, let them get used to you, you can end up with a little dragon like this that has no problem being handled at all. Bearded dragons also come in a wide variety of colours. So you can get ones like white, sandy, which is your pretty much normal wild form, yellows, reds, and overseas there's even more again. But there's many different colour and pattern mutations, like your whiplets and so forth. So again, they come in all different colours, which can make them even a bit more exciting. So that's why I'd put bearded dragons at number 2. However, I'm being a little bit biased towards number 1, which we'll talk about in a second. So realistically, 1 and 2 can be interchangeable depending on your opinion, I suppose. You've all been waiting for this. Number 1, I'm super biased towards this, but I do believe they do make great beginner pets. Number 1 is going to be your blue-tongued lizard. Any of their species, they all make great pets, they're all super handleable, but a more common probably going to be either your eastern blue tongue or even your blotched blue tongue or your lowland blue tongue. This is our one of our males here. He's a quad het, so he's het for a couple different genetic mutations. So again, just like the bearded dragons, your blue tongues also come in a whole array of different colors. In fact, probably even more than the bearded dragons, at least what's available here in Australia anyway. A lot more forgiving, super hardy, so really robust animals. And I think that's why they're going to have to be number 1 for me. I think I'm a bit biased because a large percentage of my collection here is blue tongues. I do actually own all of the species that we can keep here in Victoria. Absolutely love these guys. Their vibrant blue tongues are second to none. And it's super personable. And then you got your little Centralian blue tongues. I mean, how can you not love that cute little tongue flicker and this little short body? This is an adult specimen. This is a WA locality, in particular a Pilbara, and they're little kegs on legs. And again, they got a really cute little tongue flicker. They're awesome. You can't beat them. And as I said, they come in a wide variety of colors. Why not get yourself a black one, a white one, or an albino? Look at that pink tongue. Pretty cool. Or even just your standard run-of-the-mill eastern blue tongue. Nothing wrong with that gorgeous thing. Feeding wise, again, they're omnivores, so feeding on things, primarily vegetation, but even the occasional treat of something like a snail. Crickets, mealworms and stuff can be fed, but I typically, if I am feeding them, will use tweezers because they actually can be a little bit too quick for the blue tongue itself to catch. But again, mealworms in a food bowl or a dubia roach on tweezers, perfectly fine for them. But otherwise, primarily fed on snails and our mushroom, peas, capsicum, zucchini, all that sort of for good mix as well. They absolutely love that. And again, the occasional dandelion from the garden as well. Now, am I likely just being biased towards these giant, magnificent blue tongues? Very good chance. I would honestly debate between a blue tongue or a bearded dragon being the number 1 pet best beginner. However, I just can't get past the prehistoric look of these awesome blue tongues here. Definitely being biased. Alrighty guys, I know that was a little bit of a different video, but something I'm going to plan to keep on doing in the future. If you have another top 5 or a top worst or so forth, leave a comment down below on what you guys want me to do next. For anything that I don't have at the moment in my collection, like the Antasia for example, I have just used pictures off the internet. And my green tree frogs are actually currently housed at my parents', so I've taken some images off Google and also included some clips of my magnificent tree frogs in there. They're close enough. Alrighty guys, leave a comment down below and tell me what your number 1 best beginner reptile is and why. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.